Hello guys, Untitled Chapter 525 here, and I am back for the first of 3 reviews that I have planned for summer 2018, and that is on none other than Duck the Great Western Engine. Before I get into the review, one thing that I just wanted to mention is that unfortunately episode 4 is going to take a little longer than I thought. Initially I wanted to have it uploaded this weekend, or if not next week in the very latest. However, what basically happened was that I ran out of tester's glue, which is basically what I need to stick on the different 3D printed faces that I order from Shapeways onto the engines. Whether it's an angry face, a sad face, etc. And because I ran out of glue, I can't do that until I get more. So thankfully, I plan on getting some very soon. But until then, unfortunately, I have to wait until I can film those final clips that I need and then edit them so that I can upload, the final product of episode 4. But because of that, there's already the first of 3 reviews, which I actually wasn't planning on uploading until early July. But I thought, since episode 4 is being postponed, might as well at least, make use of the time and do this now. So there you have it. All right. So as usual, I want to start with a little brief bio on Duck. So as we all know, as we should know, since Duck is more of a classic character than a new character, although I'm sure that even the very young generations would be familiar with Duck since he has appeared since season 17 again. But for us older fans, we know that we should know at least that he was introduced in season 2, the episode Duck Takes Charge, and was all about the Great Western Way. Basically, there's not really much to say more than that, although we all know that there's the whole dilemma between him and Devious Diesel, and that the 3 big engines, Henry, Gordon, and James, despised him initially, until they realized that he was actually quite a wise fellow and helpful. So, right now on my phone I have the Thomas Wiki opened up, and I'm looking for some other unique facts. I don't think there's much else to say other than the fact that I will mention that he is based off of a 57XX Class 060 Pannier tank engine, with the very big side tanks, of course, and I won't say more than that. With these reviews, guys, as you probably know, I don't go much into like the very, very nitty-gritty railway series, based stuff. I'm a guy who loves the TV series, so I just like to talk about the aesthetics and a few interesting facts here and there. But because of that, let's talk right about the Bachmann model now. So, for starters, what I want to say is that even in 2018, I am so happy that Bachmann made Duck, because as we all know, they announced him back in 2012, and it was amazing, how many fans got so excited, including me, even though I didn't have a YouTube account at the time, but I was aware that he was announced. I was just so excited when I saw his name listed in the 2012 catalog, and then when I saw his image in late 2012, I was like, yes, that is exactly what I wanted Duck to look like, especially with the face. And I'll lift up the model right now. That is a fantastic face, based off of season 7. You'll see it in Olive. I'm sorry, the camera's not really focusing there. That's better. There we go. Based off of the episode Oliver the Snow Engine, or if you live in the UK, I think it's just called Snow Engine. And I think it was also seen in The Spotless Record, right before Arthur crashed, and also James and the Queen of Sodor. I'm sorry guys, it's really stuffy in here. I'm going to open up a window. I'll be back in just a bit. And we are back. Alright. So, I just realized I didn't place them on the track correctly, but anyways. So yeah, season 7, those are the 3 main episodes where you see this specific face. I just love that classic look, especially with the cheekbones. Now that's what the newer Duck doesn't really have. The CGI Duck's better, but I remember in season 12, when he got that small face, all fans, including myself, were just like, what the heck? What did they do? That was a real cheap job that they did, but nonetheless. One thing I do want to mention, actually, since we're already talking about the Bachmann model, is when you look at it, you'll notice that he's not perfectly parallel with the tracks. He kind of tilts on a diagonal slightly. I mean, I don't know if that is something that the TV series model had. I find that rather interesting. I mean, it doesn't really bother me that much unless I have him at this kind of camera view, which I probably wouldn't when I'm filming. So because of that, it doesn't really bother me. But I just find that very interesting. The only main problem that I have with the Bachmann model is that the wheels are oddly small. Everyone thought that Bachmann was going to reuse the Donald and Douglas chassis, which I believe had the correct size wheels, but for whatever reason, Bachmann, decided to make a brand new chassis for Duck. I don't really know what led to that decision. I mean, maybe it's because of the tall funnel, and they wanted Thomas's funnel and Duck's funnel to be approximately the same height. I mean, that's an assumption right there, but also, another interesting thing is that the other problem was that this part of the buffer beam was not buffer beam, like whatever you call this part here, was painted black when it should have been painted red, which I fixed luckily with acrylic paint. And also on the later Bachmann models of Duck, like these little circle things, I don't know what they're called exactly, which I apologize for, they're not there for some reason. Like, I don't know why the newer models don't have them, because they are in the TV series, on the TV series model, including the CGI series. So that's another thing that's confused me as to why Bachmann all of a sudden eliminated them. But yeah, when looking at the main body though from the side, I apologize for that shake. Yeah, I mean, the font is perfect, the size is perfect. I mean, the actual body I'm very impressed with. Not too much detail up here, but I mean, hey, he didn't have it in the TV series, so that's actually accurate. I think that the thing that I really am impressed with the Bachmann models, I think the original one in 2012, in the first final pick that Bachmann uploaded, I think he had a black running board and like a little black bit right here, and I'm just glad that Bachmann made those changes. I find it funny though that they made those changes but not the buffers, because you would think that the buffers would be the easiest fix, but I mean, the fact that they went back to make the running board the correct color and based off of the model series, I mean, that's just fantastic. So because it's a new chassis, it is, so I'm going to take off the chain because that's going to fall off if I don't. It is yep, it is dated 2012 because it is a new chassis. I'm sorry, is that 2012? Yeah. For a second I thought it said 2013. No. 2012. So, and he is a very smooth runner, I will say. Yeah, I love this model. Sorry. Yeah, the back's very nice. There's no lamp on the back, but it doesn't bother me too much. You can always put it on separately. Now I will bring in the Hornby model, which is the other HO/OO model of Duck you can get. Now this model is the model that everyone pretty much had before Bachmann Duck came out. And even though it's, I wouldn't say it's as great as the Bachmann model, it's still a very, very nice model. And it stays very close to my heart, just because it was one of the first Hornby models I ever got. Stepney was my first, Duck I believe was my second. And he too just runs very, I actually have two of these, because I had one before. If you guys remember, I got that big lot for that bargain deal back in, I think, 2014 or something. That came with this Duck that I'm holding right now. But I do have another Duck that I had from, I would say, maybe 5 years before that. I think I got it, yeah, like in 2009 or something, new in the box. But unfortunately, that model burnt out, but this model does work. So I'm just so thankful to have a Hornby Duck in working order too, especially since Hornby recently discontinued their Thomas range, which is quite unfortunate. Anyways, this model too, though, I mean, I think the one thing I like about it more is all the detail on here. However, I don't blame Bachmann because in the TV series model never had that detail. But I mean, it does look rather nice, especially when considering that the top is relatively flat. So yeah, I mean, I think the main issue with Hornby though was the paint errors. You know, like the running boards are very dark gray, the faces, this right here and these should be painted black, like on the Bachmann model. What I do like is the open cab. But hey, that's that. When doing comparisons, I mean, it's not really much to say. I think they're both great models. The Hornby model has the Season 2 face. I mean, it's just subtle differences. The one big difference, though, that I find interesting is that the Hornby model is actually shorter than the Bachmann model. Unfortunately, I can't really get that on camera, but it is shorter. I will say that. So I don't think there's really much else to say with the Hornby model. If you have any questions, of course, there's comments down there. Feel free to comment. I always love to read your comments, guys. And that's really it. I mean, if you don't have Duck, I would recommend him for sure. In my opinion, he's one of Bachmann's best models. Hornby too, I would actually argue for as well. But we're going to focus on the Bachmann model since that's the model that I'm using in my series and remakes and etc. So yeah, let's just get some close-ups there. So yeah, the wheels again do look a little small, and it does look a little peculiar. You know that he's tilted downward, but I mean, hey, that's really because of the camera angle that I'm at the moment. So just looking at the model though, actually one thing I didn't mention is the whistle. That's another one of the small little nitpicks I have. It's kind of like Rosie's in that it's kind of just molded on, whereas instead of separately fitted like many of the other Bachmann models. But hey, I mean, if it's cheaper for them, I mean, so be it. Especially with this economy. Anyways. But yeah, I mean, now I'm just rambling on. But if you don't have Duck, I'd highly recommend him. He is one of my favorite characters for sure. Classic character. And quite a popular character as well, because on the Bachmann website, I believe that he's one on the top 10 locos, so which is completely understandable since he's very unique, especially with those wide tanks on the sides. Like, I mean, come on, I mean, that is just awesome. So that's really what makes him stand out. Anyways, that'll be it for me with this review, and I have a few short clips of you from Donald's Duck. The episode, oh, sorry, last thing, 10 out of 10, without a doubt. All right, see you guys.
The line runs along the coast by sandy beaches till it meets a port where big ships come in. Duck enjoyed exploring every curve and corner of the line. Sea breezes swirled his smoke high into the air, and his green paint glistened in the sunlight. "This is just like being on holiday," he puffed. "Well, you know what they say," laughed his driver. "A change is as good as a rest." Soon, Duck was busier than ever.